metal and plastic containers for garbage collection inside and outside the Holy Mosque. Plastic bag rolls are available at the entrances of the Holy Mosque for shoe keeping. Around 2 million bags are utilized during the seasons. The presidency directs the polishing of the Kaaba door, the Maqam Ibrahim, Abraham's station, the Hijr lanterns, the gates, the Mashaf shelves, the gold-coated items, in addition to the dividers inside the Holy Mosque throughout its piazzas. The Kaaba, the Black Stone, the Multazam, and the Yamani corner are scented with fine types of oud and rose perfume every day. The visitors
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's Ask Eman show, where we're going to be here, brothers and sisters, for the next half an hour to take your questions about your life as a Muslim and get them answered for you authentically according to the Quran and Sunnah. So if you have any questions, give us a call on the usual number, which is 0203 5150 769. Otherwise, you can send your questions to our WhatsApp number, email address, and on our live stream right now on YouTube, inshallah. So without further ado, I'll be your host for today, and joining us is Shaykh Wasim Kempson. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today, Shaykh?
I'm very well, barakallah.
It's so good to have you here, Shaykh, because we haven't done an event. We haven't done a show in a while.
We haven't,
yeah. Yeah, and I remember our shows mostly were
Fridays.
about... Sorry?
They're usually on Fridays.
On Fridays, and they've usually been about Ramadan's coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
SubhanAllah, now we're almost in the last 10 days, or in the last 10 days. Very. When is it, today or tomorrow, Shaykh?
No, tomorrow night will be the first.
Tomorrow's the first day,
inshallah.
first night?
First night of the last 10, inshallah.
MashaAllah. So, as we start every show, Shaykh, I'd like to ask you for a short reminder, and then we can get started with our questions, inshallah.
Inshallah. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praise belongs to Allah, And may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and viewers. So as you rightly mentioned just a few moments ago, that we will be going into the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and which, according to many of the scholars, are the very best 10 nights of the year, the vast majority. And this is based upon what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Fajr, وَالْفَجْرِ وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, that Allah Jalla wa Ala swears by the dawn and by the 10 nights. And these 10 nights are the last 10 nights of the month of Shahr Ramadan. So there's an opportunity for us as Muslims to gain so much, and in it we know that there is a night which is خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ, a night which is better than 1,000 months. So our lifetimes is what? Our lifetime, maybe we live to in our 60s or 70s or 80s. If you live according to the average lifespan, according to the statistics, maybe you live shorter than that. Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. But 1,000 months is 83 years and some change. So that's, you could say that's a lifetime. Imagine now that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just for whatever you offer on that night. It is as though that you have, or you will receive the reward for better than 1,000 months. Now, do we know categorically what that night is? No, we don't. It could be the 27th, Allahu Alam. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It could be the 25th, 23rd, 21st, 29th. Allah knows best. But to be absolutely sure, absolutely, just do something every single night in the last 10 nights. And bearing in mind, here in the UK, the schools are on holidays. It's half term for them. It's a great opportunity for you to take your family to the masjid to pray. It's not a condition you have to pray the whole night. The Prophet ﷺ would pray part of the night, but he'd also ﷺ would wake his family. So this ensures the importance of everybody participating in the engagement of the worship on these particular nights. So I would advise my brothers and sisters not to let this opportunity to pass you by. No one gives us a guarantee for next Ramadan. This could be your final 10 or 11 days of this month of Ramadan, so make the most of it and try to do different types of ibadah every night. Give a little bit of charity every night, offer salah every night, offer charity every night, make some qira'at al-Quran, recitation of the Quran, and all different types of ibadah that you can do. Helping people. If you go to the masjid, maybe you can volunteer for something. The point being, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best, is just engage in something on these nights because they are blessed nights, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us all.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to go now to our first caller of the show. Assalamu alaikum to our caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam. My name is Anisha and I'm calling from London.
MashaAllah. And how old are you?
I'm 12.
MashaAllah. Do you have your parents' permission to be calling us?
Yeah.
Alright then. You can go ahead with your question.
I have two questions. The first one is, when you're fasting in the morning, can you still eat while the Fajr Azan's going? Or as soon as it starts, you have to stop eating?
Okay. And your second question?
Can you brush your teeth while you're fasting?
Alright then. Okay. So is that all?
Yes.
Alright then. So keep watching and we'll get that answered for you in just a second, inshallah. Thank you for calling. So the first question, Shaykh, is can you eat while the adhan is going on, Fajr adhan? And the second question is, can you brush your teeth whilst you're fasting?
Okay. So regarding the first question, if you hear the adhan of Fajr and you know that is the adhan which begins the timing for the fasting, you are not permitted to eat or drink. If you have something in your mouth, if you have something in your hand, you are not allowed to eat it. You must get rid of it. If it means taking it out of your mouth because the adhan is gone, you must do that. There's a misunderstanding concerning this. Based upon two different narrations of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said that you should eat and drink when you hear the adhan of Bilal, bearing in mind the adhan of Bilal was before the entering of Fajr. Okay. So for this reason the Prophet ﷺ said, continue eating whatever's in your hand, whatever's in your mouth, you continue, you finish it, no problem. But for the adhan, for the entering time of Fajr, you're not permitted to eat or drink anything. It's not allowed. That's the first.
Because we have this in the Islamic countries as well, isn't it, Shaykh? Like there's 2 or 3 adhans that come out from the mosque for Fajr time.
Yeah, you hear, most countries do too, in that this was the practice of the Prophet ﷺ, the first adhan, and then the second adhan would include as-salatu khayrun min an-nawm, and this would allow you to differentiate the two types of adhan that is offered.
Okay.
Yeah. So the second question about brushing teeth, there's two things. The first one is that the Prophet ﷺ used to use the miswak while fasting. And secondly, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Balighu fi istinshaq, illa an takuna sa'im." That you should exaggerate when rinsing your nose and mouth while fasting, while making wudu. But don't exaggerate while you're fasting, because there's a fear that when you inhale the water or you rinse your mouth over too much, that you may swallow the water. So with these two narrations, bearing in mind, does the toothbrush take the place of miswak? Yeah, it does. It cleans your teeth. The use of toothpaste now, I would say, don't exaggerate as you would maybe outside of Ramadan. You fill up the toothbrush with loads of toothpaste. Don't do that. If you really do want to use toothpaste, just minimize the amount that you are going to use. Really minimize, so that once you have brushed your teeth and rinsed your mouth fully, you don't have this kind of, if you use mint toothpaste, that is, this kind of really strong mint taste in your mouth. Okay, so if you're going to use it, just minimize the use, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is best.
Thank you, Shaykh, for your answer. That brings us to the end of this part of our show. We're going to take a short break for us and for everyone watching at home for a few minutes, and then we'll be back to continue our show after that. So you're welcome to call us once we're back. For now, stay tuned. Wassalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to today's Ask Eman show. We're going to be here for another 2 parts, inshallah. So welcome back after the break. If you'd like to give us a call to ask your questions, then you're welcome to. All you have to do is dial 0203 5150 769. Otherwise, you can send your questions to our email address or WhatsApp number, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break. So our next question, Shaykh, is about fasting. The question is, I wanted to ask if someone vomits during their fast, will it break their fast?
Okay, Bismillah. Concerning vomiting while fasting, if a person involuntarily, they're ill, they don't induce vomiting, okay, it does not break the fast. If the person intentionally induces vomiting, that would break the fast quite simply.
Thank you, Shaykh. Our next question is, Assalamu alaikum. When I am doing my dhikr, I sometimes use counting beads, but some are saying not to use it as it is bid'ah.
طيب. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase you and allow you to be from those people who remember Allah Jalla wa ala. This is one of the greatest actions that you can do, is make dhikr and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we know that the Prophet ﷺ used to use his fingers while making dhikr. And how you do that, if you use the lines on your fingers, if you want to count to 33 for example, use your fingers. That's what the Prophet ﷺ used to do. If however that you find yourself forgetting, you can't use your fingers, maybe due to arthritis, depending on your age, if you find that the beads or the little counter, it helps you, then inshallah ta'ala it's allowed for you to use. The hand is better. But if you find that, you know, the masbah the tasbih beads, if there's a need for you to use it and it helps you, then khair inshallah, use it inshallah ta'ala, may Allah and Allah's best.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Now, bid'ah is a word that was used here, Shaykh, in this question, which means innovation in the deen, in the religion. Now, Shaykh, how can we correctly understand bid'ah? How can we practice avoiding it in the correct way? And how can we practice avoiding being extreme about it as well?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so with regards to al-bid'ah, no doubt it's something which the Prophet ﷺ warned us about. إِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتُ الْأُمُورِ. Be aware of those newly invented matters. فَإِنَّ كُلَّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ. Because every newly invented matter is an innovation. And in other narrations, وَكُلَّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. And that every innovation is a form of misguidance, and all misguidance leads to the hellfire. We know the hadith of Aisha and the different narrations, radiyallahu anha, مَنْ أَحْدَثَ فِي أَمْرِنَا هَذَا مَا لَيْسَ مِنْ فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. That whoever invents something into this affair of ours which we did not command, then it is rejected. And the hadith concerning that are very clear. We know that the Prophet ﷺ taught us everything that we need to know to get close to and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not possible for us to do something to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that was not taught to us by our beloved Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is, if you like, one of the understandings of al-bid'ah, or the innovations into the religion, those newly invented matters that a person believes or practices, not necessarily is based upon belief, but a person will do something in a way, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that the Prophet ﷺ did not teach us. So, and this protects us, alhamdulillah, this protects us from adding to our religion. And if this continues over a period of 10 years or 50 years or 100 years, you'll find that people are adding and adding until the religion becomes something completely different. So for that reason, we have this purity of worship, and not only do we have sincerity and purity of intention, but we have purity of action as well, in that we follow the Prophet ﷺ in how he used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the very best way. So the term is a very big term, it's a very dangerous term if a person is engaging in bid'ah. But we, in the first place, have to understand what qualifies as a bid'ah in the first place. So maybe one person is doing something which may be not right. Remember the Prophet ﷺ said, ad-din al-nasiha, this is a religion of sincere advice, and advise them in the best way. You know, bashiru wa la tunaffiru, give people good tidings. Tell them the good thing that they are doing. They're making dhikr, for example. You want to run them away? As the advice that was given to Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, you know, give people glad tidings. Don't run them away from the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you see somebody's doing something good, alhamdulillah, this is a good thing. But they just might need a slight adjustment in doing that which is correct. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Our next question is, in the last 10 days I wanted to do i'tikaf. at home, but I have to give my mum medication. What should I do? And is this i'tikaf if I need to help my mum?
She wants to make i'tikaf at home?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So first and foremost, we say that i'tikaf, and what is i'tikaf? That is the seclusion or staying in the masjid for a period of time. It doesn't have to be the whole 10 days. It can be for part of the time, no doubt. The 10 days is best. But i'tikaf is ibadah, it's a worship, and it is to be offered in the masjid. There's no i'tikaf in the home. So if the sister, and i'tikaf is sunnah. I'tikaf is a sunnah. It's not an obligation. So even if the sister had an option or the ability to perform i'tikaf in the masjid, which is a sunnah, I would say to the sister that your reward lies in helping and serving your mother, which is an obligation at home. And you will be rewarded so much more than you performing i'tikaf in the masjid. And that is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you will help your mother than you performing i'tikaf. So i'tikaf is only in the masjid, not at home. And don't think that you are missing out on anything, that you don't receive anything. Rather, what you are doing, inshallah ta'ala, inda Allah, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is far greater in you serving your mother. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. I had the question at the beginning of the show, Shaykh. It came to mind when we were speaking about the last 10 days of Ramadan. Now, people, or most of us, may be feeling tired, or we're adjusting to Ramadan, but at the same time we're feeling like our schedules between work, between family, we're not feeling like we really are experiencing Ramadan.
Yeah.
Maybe some of us can make Taraweeh, maybe not. Maybe some of us are just managing to fast. Now, how do we find the balance, Sheikh, in terms of how we feel about this? Because we might be feeling really guilty, or really bad, but in the end we're committed to our commitments.
Yeah, of course.
So how do we understand this? How do we know that, because why I'm asking this is because I feel sometimes a person can be really doing their best, but their best doesn't look like going to the mosque, doing qiyam, fasting, doing all of that, but it is their best.
Yeah.
And
That's a good question, because not everybody is able to go to the masjid. They have family commitments, they have work commitments, they have many different reasons why they can't go to the masjid every night and pray Taraweeh. If a person has circumstances which is beyond their control, then فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah Azza wa Jalla as much as you can. Offer what you can. That's what you'll be judged about. Or you'll be judged for is that what you were able to do, whether you were able to do it or not. Now, as for those who were able to plan and look forward, Ramadan didn't just pop up and we didn't. It's not as though that yesterday or the beginning or 3 weeks ago somebody said, what's tomorrow? It's going to be Ramadan. And nobody told us about it. We knew Ramadan was coming for a long time. So if you were able to arrange with your workplace that you wanted to take some time off from work, and you could have done that, but you didn't do that, then the only one to question is yourself why you didn't do that. I know that there are people who have that opportunity and they do plan for Ramadan.
Can we continue with this after the break, Shaykh? Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in so far. We're going to take a short break again for a few minutes. And when we're back, we're going to finish our show with the last segment, inshallah. So stay tuned for now. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back to the last part of today's Ask Eman show. We're going to be here for another 10 minutes, inshallah. So if you have any questions, brothers and sisters, give us a call on 0203 515 0769. Otherwise, you can send us your questions to our WhatsApp number or email address, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break.
Wa alaikum salam.
Before we left for the break, Shaykh, you were explaining to us about how, what doing our best may look like in different ways for different people in Ramadan.
Yeah.
In the last 10 days, sorry.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Bismillah. So, if a person is engaged in or doing things other than what they find themselves ideally they would like to be doing, like praying in the masjid and whatnot, however their circumstances dictate that they're looking after their children or looking after their mother or work or something like that, and they don't have anything, don't feel that you are spending your Ramadan how it should be, or you should feel bad about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows your situation, and as long as you have that intention, subhanallah, that you will have that reward. Our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us that a person who has an intention to strive for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the path of Allah, giving da'wah, however the reality doesn't appear for them for whatever reason, and that they were to, subhanallah, with that intention, they die with that intention on their bed, they would have the reward, or they would die the death of a shaheed. So even though the person didn't engage in that action, subhanallah, giving da'wah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of their intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave that to them. So if a brother or sister is doing something and they can't get out of it, but they would have that wish and desire to do that, but they can't, maybe Allah Azza wa Jal will write for you the reward of those people who are doing that. And maybe you're doing other things as well, so you're rewarded for that as well. So seek your reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember, Man sama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaban, you're not missing out. Whoever fasts Ramadan with iman, seeking Allah Azza wa Jal's reward, and his having iman in Allah Azza wa Jal, belief in Him, all your previous sins are forgiven if you just fast. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us all.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Ameen. May Allah accept from us. Jazakallah khair. Our next question is, what should I do about rumours being spread about me for the past year by family members?
This question appears quite often, to be honest with you.
It does, yeah.
If you can't hold the tongues of other people, they will speak, and you gain hasanat, you gain reward for them speaking or backbiting you. If you're able to advise them, to tell them to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then do so. This is haram. It's not allowed to speak about the honor of any Muslim. So it is haram to backbite, to engage in this false speech, or not even, it may be truthful. It's not necessarily false speech, because the Prophet gave us a definition of what ghiba was, or backbiting is dhikru akhak bima yakrah, to mention something about your brother which he doesn't like. And then the companion said, وَإِن كَانَ فِيهِ مَا أَقُولُ, what about if what I'm saying is exactly the truth?
Yes.
And then the Prophet said, you have slandered him. You have slandered him. So this is a form of ghiba, slandering, and also namima, spreading false rumors, which is ashad, which is even more severe. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you patience, and know that your reward is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
For example, Shaykh, if someone is spreading rumors, but they don't know the validity of it. So for example, they are engaging in backbiting.
Right.
But they're not sure, they haven't verified the information, they don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Does this become namima now? So they're already backbiting, but does it become the next level of spreading falsehood because they don't know if the information is true? They're just passing it around.
So namima is spreading false information, knowingly false information.
Knowingly?
Yeah.
Okay,
you're spreading false information about people. But whether you know that what is being said is true or not is irrelevant. Is irrelevant. And welcome to the world of social media. 90%, if that's a fair statistic, it's from my head, maybe it's more, maybe it's less, that the information that goes around, people speaking about other individuals, falls directly underneath that you don't know whether it's true, number one, and even if it is true, are you allowed to spread it? So this is like ذنوب مركبة. This is like sins built upon one another. It's not one sin. You're engaging in so many sins by doing one action. This is why social media is very dangerous. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, أمسك عليك لسانك. أمسك هذا. The Prophet ﷺ held his tongue and said, hold this. And then Mu'adh said, وَإِنَّا لَمُؤَخَذُونَ بِمَا نَقُولُ. Are we going to be taken account by what we say? And kitaba, writing down, takes the same as what you say. And then the Prophet said to Mu'adh, ثَكَلَتْكَ أُمَّكَ يَا مُعَاذ. May your mother be bereft of you. وَهَلْ يُكُبُّ النَّاسُ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ أَوْ عَلَى مَنَاخِرِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِدْ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Do you think that the people will be dragged on their faces or their noses on the day of judgment, except by that what their tongues have harvested? So it is a very big issue. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us.
You know, it just came to me, Shaykh, because you mentioned social media, and because we do live in a time where the culture is naming and shaming. Yeah. And I was thought about, where does this come from? Because usually it has a root in society, and it made me think about the media at large. The media at large, that's what it practices. It practices just news, whatever the news. Yeah, exactly.
When people used to buy newspapers, but they used to name and shame because they want to sell newspapers. Nowadays, people want to become famous. People want to be superheroes.
Yeah, that's it. And, so there's that inclination to just put it out there.
It's under the guise of, we are an ummah of commanding the good and forbidding the evil and protecting the souls of people. Yeah, of course, no doubt, this is in the Quran. But this has guidelines. Who told you to take one ayah of the Quran? Who made you Superman? Who made you the savior of humanity in regards to these issues? And you take in one ayah. Who made you this person? We are all bound by the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, from Surah Al-Fatiha to Surah Al-Nas. Don't start coming on the stage, because social media is a stage, isn't it? It's a stage, it's a free stage. You can have many hundreds of thousands of followers, and you will have those who cheer, the cheerleaders, the free cheerleaders, and they will clap their hands. Literally, you can see the clapping hands. They got a little picture of clapping hands on the little pictures, and the hearts and the smiles, saying that you're doing a great job saving people. Not only realizing, subhanallah, that you are falling into so much sin. Have you verified information? Is the information true? Is this the right platform? Have you allowed the other people to speak? Or have you heard from one person? And there's so many things to be taken into consideration. However, people have become very loose in these matters, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, listen, every time it seems I mention social media, I'm kind of taking social media out. I mean, we're users of social media ourselves, okay? But it's a tool, like anything. And if you see people using it in the wrong way, okay, then you need to, at times, remind them of the severity of the matter. If you use it in a good way, by all means use it, mashallah, spreading talks, spreading reminders, encouraging people, reminding people to make dhikr and salah and fasting and whatnot, reminders of talks, if only social media was restricted to this. But it is not. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to utilize these beneficial mediums in a good way, and to protect us from falling in matters which, the Prophet, this is going to a talk here by the way, but the Prophet told us that maybe a person says a word that earns the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is thrown into Jahannam for that. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Ameen ya Rabbi.
Ameen. Thank you so much, Shaykh. Thank you for joining us today. That brings us to the end of our show. Jazakallah khair. Yes. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. It was a pleasure being here today. Until tomorrow at the same time, inshallah, I believe. Assalamu alaikum.